There's a secret that only somebody who's lived in Florida a good long time would know. The gator that you see is absolutely no threat whatsoever. It's the one that you don't see that you've got to worry about. Because trust me, if this big old guy did not want you to see him, you wouldn't. They can disappear, even that size, in 2 feet of water, and you wouldn't even know they're there. But if you leave them alone and you stay out of their territory, they will leave you alone. You see, this is exactly what being a Floridian is all about. We each have our own little territory, and we don't go looking for trouble. But if you come looking for trouble, you'll find it in amounts that you never knew even existed. This picture is of a harmless gator. Huge gator, but he's just walking across a golf course. Trust me, if he was hunting, he wouldn't be. Florida Maquis, what does this have to do with anything? Well, there's a couple of big stories in the news today, and it has directly to do with this. Somebody picked a fight, and somebody lost. And the winner is going to be decided very shortly. If you'd like to join us over at Patreon, we're going to have a brand new video over there, and it's going to talk about this in some terms that probably would make some people feel uncomfortable. Because there's a level of relativism going on that people are missing. As time goes on, people are forgetting. People are forgetting to keep the receipts of what was said and what was done, even as far back as 6 or 7 years ago. Forget 60 or 70 years ago. There are people that have absolutely forgotten what led up to 2015, 2016, and then those ensuing 4 years. Now, if you'd like to get read in on that, it's only $1 per month. Even less if you sign up for an entire year. Fully refundable. First 90 days. No questions asked. If you'd like it for less than $1 a month, an entire year. You can get an entire year for less than $1 a month. Would love to have you over there. It's gloves off. We do video about every 7 to 10 days. And the one coming up, I think, is going to interest a lot of people. Now, what's happened recently? Well, what's the big story of the day? Big story of the day was what? The Tucker Carlson left Fox, and Don Lemon and Brian Stelter left CNN. What's going on in Manhattan? You see, something's going on all across this country, and they're not talking about it. You see this little logo we have for the Florida State Guard? Leave us alone, let us alone. Well, you see, it's resonating with some people, but not just any people. You see, we actually have a special forces version of the Florida State Guard that has a completely different motto. And I'll let the image on the screen speak for itself. Because that should be the state motto, truly, for a lot of us. Because that's where it's at. Now, funny story. This is also what our state flag was proposed to be way back in 1845. They had the attitude back then, okay, fine, yeah, we'll join your little united state of whatever. Fine, if you need us, we'll come help, but just leave us alone, was basically the idea on 3 March 1845. That never came to fruition. But the big story, what's going on at Fox? And more importantly, what's going on at CNN? Letting Don Lemon go? What did Don Lemon do, though? Look into that. And why is Tucker Carlson a liability? Why was this guy a liability? See, they all have something in common. They all have something in common, and it goes to this very old meme that's been floating around the internet for a long time. For those of you unaware, people have used this for all sorts of ideas about being distracted by something. The boyfriend that has the wandering eye right in front of his girlfriend, and he won't even hide the fact, giving himself a whiplash, checking out another girl walking by. Now, this is a little bit more of a sedate one, just talking about how people can, want to choose the wrong thing with the right thing right beside them. Well, people decided, hey, well, wait a minute, that seems a little bit sexist. Why shouldn't there be a version for women who get the wandering eye? And that, my friends, that is what's going on. A lot of people aren't getting this because we're not in an election year, but I made a meme of my own. I think that will clear all this up. You see, something's happening. Something is shifting, and it's only really in one large group of people. People forgot the clubs they tried to use, the specific ones they chose. There were 100 different clubs they could have picked up to hit Donald Trump with, being a Republican, meaning the Democrats. But they picked up a couple of them. The Stormy Daniels thing, the porn star thing, and the whole sexism thing, the comments that he made, all this kind of stuff. It was all the anti-woman stuff that they used primarily that didn't work. Well, now guess what? Guess what? You see, that's what energized a lot of women who didn't like Biden so much, but man, they hated Trump. And believe me, it's a group of people the mainstream media knows they can use emotions with. And ladies, I'm sorry, I'm just saying that women, generally speaking, are more emotionally driven than men. It just kind of is the way they are. It feeds into their intuition. And like I said, there's a lot of women out there that didn't like Biden, but they really hated Donald Trump. Well, guess what? See, now you have all the conservative values, but you don't have the porn stars. You don't have somebody who used to be a Democrat. You don't have any certain grabbings, whether they be biological or ballistic, as in gun grabbing. You see, that's what this is really all about. So you can say whatever you want about the governor of Florida. It's not about what he is or isn't. The fact that he's a committed, married to one woman his whole life, father of 3, dedicated governor with fears God, conservative Christian values. You put all that together, Trump can't touch that. He can pick out all sorts of other make-believe stories and start a fight, which is what he's done, which is why I led with this. You see, he's now picked a fight with the state of Florida. And don't say he didn't start it. Don't you dare down in the comments say that Trump didn't start this. He did. DeSantis has never said, and he's actually bitten his tongue in the process, never. He's gone out of his way to not say negative things about President Trump, even when he was confronted and asked multiple times. He deflected so as not to be seen as trying to pile on. Unfortunately, he's not worthy of the same respect. Unfortunately. So, the people of Florida are going to have the final say in this. And what do you teach your kids about getting in fights? You're going to go start a fight? Don't go writing checks your ass can't cash. And we've all seen it happen. We've all seen the big mouth go out and say, oh, I can do this, I can do that, and then get one punched. One and done. We've all seen it. All Governor DeSantis has to do is stay the course. I don't know if the man will run for president or not, to be very honest. But if he did, it's not even a choice. Because of one group of voters across both sides of the spectrum. Across both sides of the spectrum. There's even people, even women that are, believe it or not, there are still some moderate Democrat females out there. Moderate, I do not like Donald Trump females out there. There's people in the conservative movement that don't like Donald Trump. Just because of all the bullshit and the lies and the back and forth. And you can go off and make whatever excuse you want about why he behaved like this in 1980 or why he behaved like that in 1990 or why he did this in 2000 and all this other stuff. But when there's another choice, you see, that's the problem. And this one should probably wake you up. If it doesn't wake you up, I don't know what will. President Trump awards presidential commendations to Operation Warp Speed Team. Now, I don't know if you can read this on the right, but I'll read it for you. 19 January 2021. Today, President Donald J. Trump awarded presidential commendations to the below individuals in recognition of their exceptional efforts on Operation Warp Speed. You ready for the people that he pinned medals on? for the vax, for the jab? Mark Miley, General Mark Miley, woke General Mark Miley, Secretary Alex Azar, Jared Kushner. Wow, look at that. His very own son-in-law. Dr. Monsef Slaoui from Morocco. We did a video on this. Many of you might not remember it. On Monsef Slaoui. Could probably do another one. Gustav Perna, Dr. Deborah Birx, Dr. Anthony Fauci. Somebody I can't even find named Chong Yun. I'm going to say Chuang Hyun. Chuang Hyun? I hope I got that right. From Janssen Pharmaceuticals, Kimberly Taylor. But they even put Janssen in here. So what, did they give an award to the pharma company? I mean, it's just... Keep the receipts, folks. Keep your receipts. Because when you look back and you start to check off boxes, there are going to be some that bother the heck out of a lot of people. You see, we don't have to, in Florida, we don't have to explain Governor DeSantis. We don't have to bend ourselves into pretzels trying to explain how the greatest, best Christian ever that is in no need of forgiveness because he is just the biggest lover of God that has ever been. Everybody says so, even the disciples. You see, we don't have to explain how somebody can say that, but then also go to golf outings with Bill Clinton, where there are porn stars and porn star companies, and then why he was on a date with one girl when he met his next wife, and Marla Maples, and then everything else with that went on posing for the cover of Playboy. And yes, it's not photoshopped. He's even admitted it. Posed for the cover of Playboy. If you want to be that guy, be that guy. But then don't say you're the best Christian ever. Not in need of forgiveness. I don't know what I need forgiveness for. I haven't done anything wrong. And then say you donated your salary as president. But then when we find out where the money went, it actually went to help push the vax and develop the vaccine. And then you give awards to people that you say you hate. I mean, how ridiculous is it? How can you believe somebody who on one occasion gives a presidential commendation to somebody that they say that they hate? Do you think Governor DeSantis would give any kind of Florida state award to Governor or to Fauci? But believe me, women see this, and women keep the receipts. Guys, help testify. Women keep the receipts. You say, oh, I love you, I love you, I love you, and they catch you making eyes at other girls. They're going to remember. They're going to know. They're going to keep a mental file. And that is what's going on right now. That's what's going on in the political spectrum. There are a lot of women that are looking really close at Ron DeSantis, not because even so much that they want to live in Florida or be in Florida, but you've got this guy who's done it right. He's served his country, says what he means what he says, got 3 kids, committed a relationship, 0 scandals, 0 personal scandals of any kind. And if you could show me the tape. If you have tape of Governor DeSantis saying one thing over here, but then also saying the exact opposite thing over here, please, I'd love to hear it. I think I might be the only one that has ever called him out for anything that might even approach kind of looking like hypocrisy, and that had to do with Dave Rubin. We've talked about that a long time ago. But just saying, handing out medals to Fauci compared to what Governor DeSantis has done. It truly is the best analogy that I can make. If you see that gator, you're fine. You're fine. If he didn't want to be seen, you wouldn't. And if he didn't want to be seen, and he wanted you, and you decided to amble off into his turf, there's maybe an elephant, might have nothing to fear from a Florida gator, but that would probably be the only animal I could think of, land animal anyway. Rhinoceros, possibly. Hippopotamus. I mean, they're in Africa. But here in North America, there's not an animal that this creature couldn't take. And still, here's the final part I'll leave with, because it's a great analogy to respecting boundaries. If these animals are so fearsome and such good hunters, how is it that other animals live in the same waterways? Fish, frogs, turtles, birds, all sorts of other animals live in and around where gators live. How is it that those animals aren't extinct? Do you know what the answer is? Do you know what the answer is? Respect for boundaries. Respect for boundaries. It's literally the nature's version of states' rights. You can get so close to the gator, but not too close to the gator. You can swim around, you can fly around, you can go about your business, and if you stay out of the gator's business, the gator will stay out of yours. But you come after the gator, or you get too close, or you get disrespectful, he'll end you. And I think that is the perfect analogy for people in Florida, and Florida as a state in general. If you don't want the teeth, don't mess with the business end. And unfortunately, that's what Trump has done. He's messed with the business end of a gator. And he's going to learn the hard way. So I'll leave it there and let folks have the rest of their week. But God bless. Would love to have you guys join us over at Patreon if you could. Only $1. That's it. $1 US per month. And we do 2, sometimes 3 videos a month, sometimes 4, depending on what's going on. So you can look at it as 25 cents a video, and believe me, it's definitely worth it. And it's not just 25 cents a video, you get that, plus you get the entire library of all of the videos. When you sign up, and from now on, you get access to all of the old videos that we've been doing for the last 2 or 3 years for that $1 a month. So you get 100 video bonus on top of that. So anyway, those of you who have signed up, God bless you guys. I so much appreciate it, more than you know. It's making a huge, huge difference in my life. You guys are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.